There's a great Cherokee parable. It's really called The Mountain. And it starts off with how there is a young person and there's an adult. And as they're walking through the mountains, the young person actually trips and falls and calls out, ah! As the mountain replies, ah! And the child stops and listens and then calls out and said, who is that? Seconds later, the mountain responds, who is that? And the child looks at the adult with curiosity, and the adult looks at him and says, most people call this an echo. That what you give out and what you say or what you do comes back to you from the mountain. He says, life is just like that. He says, as you grow through your life, everything you give out will come back to you.
One of the things that hurt me the most as a mom was having to decide between my two kids. And that to me is still a very, very deep wound. Can you say hi and wave?
Even though the family are not sick, they go through a similar process. They go through a lot of the emotions of having a family member being sick.
There aren't childhood cancer support groups down the mountain. We all live far away from each other. We're all so busy trying to get our kids to the hospital on time and the siblings to school on time. That doesn't, I don't know of any, to be honest.
Part of our job is to provide care, comfort, and support to families, and in particular, families that are facing a crisis with their child that's sick.
We have all these medications to help heal the child from a medical standpoint, but there's a whole other part of the child and the family that also needs healing. The heart, the soul, the mind. And this is where camp was born.
There isn't a cure for cancer yet, but I think this camp is that cure until there is one. You never forget this place. It's a second home.
Being around nature, you don't have all these streetcars and traffic, the wind blowing through the trees, and that's a very relaxing atmosphere. And I think for many of the kids who've kind of grown up in a city environment, this is probably their one time a year that they actually are around nature.
It's almost like not only a deeper appreciation, but this healing again, because I used to almost feel like it was an out-of-body experience at the hospital, and not in a good way. Because when you don't have your senses connected to you, it's just shocking how much you lose yourself. Being here again and watching my kids roll in the grass and all the smells and the laughter, and it just heals in a really, really deep place because of how much that was taken away for so long. When I come here, I feel hope again.
I love to shoot bow and arrows, and it takes a lot of strength, and I feel so awesome remembering how weak I was and how strong I am now.
11 years ago this year, my little brother was diagnosed with leukemia. So a couple years into his treatment, my parents ended up sending me, him, and my other little brother to a camp where siblings and kids with cancer could go to kind of escape the madness of real life.
It was life-changing, needless to say. Blew my mind. I'd never experienced anything like it. I felt like I was doing more for the world in the 1 week at camp than I was the rest of the time out in the quote-unquote real world.
They tell me that sometimes they can be themselves more here than they can even be around their friends at home. And that says a lot.
But yeah, I think it's so outside their norm. There's not really a place where anyone says, yeah, get filthy, get muddy, dive in. So they can do that here. That is love.
Oh yeah, you guys, we all love that.
We need to ask, and I ask you and I ask those that you know, to help these children, to help their families.
It's really part of the cure for cancer. We cure the mind, body, and spirit places where chemotherapy cannot reach. If you want to be part of the cure, then I would say camp is the best place to make your investment.